Delighted to welcome everybody in from the main stage. We do want to make sure that if there's any questions you could have, that's excellent. But this is more about lightning talks. We want to make sure that we hear from practitioners on the ground, making a difference, particularly in the circular economy, employing people and obviously giving opportunity. So with that, we are delighted to welcome 4 speakers. Those 4 speakers are Martina Herrigan from Project Manager, Women's Environmental Community Activation Network, which thankfully is also called We Can, which is a much better name. I hopefully started with We Can and started something else. And with Martina, we have Phyllis Jordan, who's a participant on the RWN Cycle Up group. We also have Paul O'Donnell, lead coordinator in Mheitheal Rothar, which is an extraordinary organisation, social enterprise. We're going to be able to find out more, and obviously from Peter Davitt, the CEO of FIT, Fast Track to IT Limited. You're all very welcome. I know we've had brief conversation at the start, and I am looking forward to maybe hearing some of your stories. These are lightning talks. They're going to be 5 minutes. We've already decided the order in which we're going to go in. But we would love to be able to discuss some of the topics that you guys have had. The aim of this is to highlight the new qualifications that are being delivered in reuse and repair. And I know that you guys are at the forefront of making those happen. So without further ado, from We Can, it is my delight and pleasure to welcome the first 5-minute lightning episode from Martina and Phyllis. Martina, take it away.
Yeah, so Chris, thank you very much. So as you said, I'm the project manager of the Women's Environmental Community Activation Network. We Can, our acronym is much nicer. It's run by Roscommon Women's Network, who have been promoting community development approaches to environmental protection, supporting women and families to engage. From our experience on the We Can project so far, we have identified a training and skills gap in the area of upcycling, and we have found a solution by upskilling our own participants to overcome this challenge. In 2019, Roscommon Women's Network ran a pilot textile upcycling training project for 10 participants from various social backgrounds and age ranges in Castlereagh, County Roscommon, with the support of LAPN funding, Roscommon County Council, the GRETB, the Education Training Board here in Galway, Roscommon area, as well as mentoring and advice from the Rediscovery Centre in Dublin. Through this training, participants learned how to identify what materials are most suitable for upcycling purposes, how to deconstruct garments. They learned design and pattern making skills and basic sewing machine techniques. Most importantly, by the end of their training, they understood the effects of textile waste on the environment and how upcycling can be part of the solution to this issue. And also, of course, the benefits of the circular economy. When the first day was completed, there was a strong upcycling textiles as a group. So with the assistance of funding from Patagonia, the group of RWN textile upcyclers would meet regularly to upcycle textile waste from the RWN charity shop, and they would turn them into beautiful giftware, homeware and fashion items. Roscommon Women's Network has since been awarded funding from the EPA Green Enterprise Scheme for the We Can project, which allows us to expand the textile upcycling training around the County Roscommon and establish a social enterprise by the end of 2021. We've established a brand identity for our products, and we trade under the exciting name Cycle Up. And we have an online store for our upcycled items. And in March, our volunteer group of upcyclers won the 8th National Award for Sustainable Development through Education. Our plans to run new upcycling training courses this March had been curtailed by COVID restrictions, but thanks to the Rediscovery Circular Economy Academy, our current volunteers have been able to attend upcycling workshops to advance their skills. So aside from the COVID restrictions and the obstacles that have been overcome as a result of it, major challenges to running the upcycling training has been a difficulty in sourcing a textile upcycling tutor for our courses. Galway Roscommon Education and Training Board have provided sewing tutors for our courses up to this point, but they have exhausted their panel of tutors available to them, and they've had to advertise for a new textile upcycling tutor. From our experience, it appears as though while there are many qualified and experienced sewing tutors in the region, very few would consider that they would have the experience and skills required for the upcycling tutor position. It's clear that there is a skills deficit in the area of upcycling textiles. So on identifying this need, this project has pursued the idea of upskilling our own upcycling participants, one of whom is for Phyllis here, who are already competent sewers, and they'll become trained tutors and workshop facilitators. A group of 7 of the original 10 trainees have now completed the Training, Delivery and Evaluation QQI course, which is a terrific achievement for them on a personal level and for us as a fledgling social enterprise. And it's a big step on our journey to providing flexible employment in a rural context. Paid opportunities will arise within our social environmental enterprise to teach and demonstrate repair, reuse and upcycling skills through our training courses and through our workshops and events for community groups, workplaces and schools. This will in turn raise awareness of the issue of textile waste, as well as promoting the values of the circular economy. We hope that the story of the Weekend project so far and how we overcame the obstacle of a skills gap in our area will inspire other groups to identify their needs and pursue the development of qualifications in reuse and repair. Going forward, we want to work with the ETBs and Solace to develop a course offering an accredited QQI minor award in the area. And so I'm here today with my colleague Phyllis Jordan, who's just going to tell us a little bit more about her experience so far of the training with the RWN Cycle Up group.
Well, I got involved with the upcycling training course run by RWN in their pilot training in 2019. I seen an ad in the local paper and I had some sewing skills and I wanted to improve them. I wouldn't have given upcycling before, even though I was doing it really without realising it. After our initial training finished, our group stayed together upcycling items for sale through RWN network. Even through COVID, when we couldn't meet together, we made face masks at home, many of which were donated to groups locally. As a group, we could see that it was difficult to find qualified tutors in the area of textile upcycling. So a few of us who were already experienced sewers decided that we train to become tutors and workshop facilitators. So RWN We Can project arranged for us to undertake QQI training, delivery and evaluation course, which we've just completed. I found it difficult but very well worthwhile, and I would feel confident going out now delivering textile upcycling workshops in the future. This means, as a training social and environmental enterprise, this project will be able to offer flexible earning opportunities in upcycling itself, and also for those of us interested in becoming tutors. I think it's important that people train within the circular economy to enlighten us all in a better way forward, from the community level upwards. Thank you.
Guys are fantastic. We really appreciate Martina and Phyllis. Thank you so much for bringing us through that, and congratulations. And I'll be delighted now when I log onto the store and purchase some items. I'll know exactly where they came from. Thank you so much for the lightning talks that you're able to do, and with time to spare, which is excellent. So we really appreciate that. Moving on to Paul O'Donnell from one of my favorite, which is Mheitheal Rothar. I think the mission, although maybe Paul will tell me different, has really been about fostering cycling in Galway City, and it's made a huge effort in doing so. It's practical, ethical, social. It's just an extraordinary initiative. To tell us a little bit more about the work that has been going on over the past number of months and years, I'm delighted to be able to welcome on stage and give the floor to Paul at the moment. Paul, take it away.
Thanks very much, Chris. Yeah, so Mheitheal Rothar is a cycling organisation based in Galway. We started off very small. The initial concept came through the NUIG Ecology Society. I was a student at the time, and it was a group of environmental activists who wanted to do something practical that would make the university better. As we actually developed the idea and the concept, and we were asking for a space where people could fix bikes, but also have conversations about sustainability, and create that space for the kind of like the cultural context of talking about how sustainability works and other things that be more sustainable. Kind of like that men's sheds approach of like people can like have conversations when they're side by side. So we started off in 2012. We got the space. Luckily, through developing the concept, we had become more outward focused by the time we got the space, and we were like, this isn't just a university project. We want this to be for the city and the people of Galway. And we got the space, and after a year and a half of preparations, planning and development, we ended up getting a Student Enterprise Award the exact same week that we got granted the space. So we went from a concept and an idea to having €5,000 and a room. So we fitted that out, and over the next 6 months, we learned ourselves and we trained ourselves and we taught each other in a peer learning environment how to establish an organization, how to do payroll was something that we looked at, but we didn't have to do that straight away. But we did lots of different things at the beginning, and the main thing that we did when we opened our doors was we had DIY workshops. So for years, for every Wednesday evening from 6 to 9 and every Saturday from 12 until 3, anybody at all could come through the doors and they could work with one of our volunteer mechanics on one of the 6 workbenches, which had all of the basic tools. And the volunteer mechanics would show people what to do, but the people would do it themselves. So it's a peer-to-peer learning environment where the person actually getting their bike fixed gets it fixed for a donation price. They just throw whatever they can afford in afterwards. There's crates on a big, huge shelving unit, which all have different separate parts in it, and people get the parts, again, at a donation basis. And yeah, it's about learning in a supportive environment and getting their bike fixed for as cheap as possible. At the same time, we also started working on kind of looking at, right, what does Galway need for cycling, and starting working with Galway City Council and identifying locations where bike parking was needed, identifying locations where cycle lanes are needed, and kind of working with them as much as possible. In 2014, we had our first TUIS participant start with us, and that was a great resource for the organisation, but also a great support for people who are long-term unemployed. We've always had a fairly strict approach to the person needs to really want to work with bikes. That's something that we say, it's like not just that this is a placement where somebody needs to be placed, but we want to work with people who are interested in bikes and sustainability. Sustainability is one that, like, people can gain an interest in that, but as long as they're interested in bikes, we're happy for anyone to do a work placement with us. We'll teach them over the year, and towards the end of the year, we'll try and support them to get a qualification, the City and Guilds Level 2 in bike mechanics. Then in 2016, we kind of grown as much as we could as a volunteer organisation, and the level of kind of like funding reports and the level of kind of like reporting was getting to the point where, okay, we need more than just a group of volunteers. So we started doing what are now called social enterprise activities. So we started doing repairs to generate money. That continued to work. We did that for a couple of years. Then we started a recycling initiative with Galway City Council, where we go out to the Civic Community Centre, we take bikes from them, and we fix them up with TUIS participants, volunteers and mechanics fixing them up, and then we sell them on. That went quite well for a number of years, and then just last year we applied for and got an EPA grant, which we're going to look at expanding to recycling bikes that currently aren't recycled. At the moment, we take about 10 to 20% of the bikes. There's a good chunk there, another 50 or 60% of those bikes. They would be fine if they were fixed up, but people just don't want to buy things that, like, oh, it's a bit of rust on that now, which is fair enough. So that recycling project will look at fixing up the bikes to a higher standard. They'll be a bit more expensive, but they will be a higher finish. We're also looking at, in relation to the training and education, all of that work, there's always training and education going, whether it's with volunteers, TUIS participants or CE participants, or the mechanics that we have are always upskilling. I mean, yeah, we're looking at electronic bikes, and right, we need to do courses on e-bikes now. So there's always another way to follow your own personal development. We will be launching this September a local training initiative, also with the GRETB, the Galway Roscommon Education Training Board. And that will be a local training initiative for 7 people in the west side of the city. It's focused on people 18 to 25 who will be long-term unemployed, and it will be a course in bicycle mechanics. The intention is that pilot, that first year, will be about bicycle mechanics, but we'll also be doing personal development, customer service, and then in year 2, we'll be working on to actually have that accredited as QQI modules in kind of customer service, personal development. We're also, because we work as a cooperative, we do some other interesting things. such as collective decision making, conflict resolution. And when you're working with people who've been long-term unemployed, there are lots of soft skills about being in the workplace that we do those through a community development workshop approach where everyone gets to talk to each other and work through those things. So I guess the soft skills are slightly different from all of the kind of like the qualifications and the education side of things. But we see, especially when we're working with people who are marginalized, long-term employed, that those softer skills are actually there where you have to start to support people through their own personal development before they can work on to getting the qualifications, whether it be in bike mechanics or whether it be in circular economy skills or anything else like that. So I think that's...
Paul, that is literally is a lightning round, and much like Martina talking, there's any number of areas I would like to explore and go down, but a huge success to you. Obviously doing not just looking to what the need is, but obviously to the future. You talk about e-bikes and other things as well. It's extraordinary. So huge congratulations to you and the team. It's a huge community effort. So well done. Obviously, people are using the chat for all the right reasons. Obviously, I'm not going to point out to any of our speakers that you can follow that along as well. But there's people who are offering suggestions, people who are giving you kudos as well. And so we're looking for those conversations to have happen. Bear in mind, I think there's also an opportunity to reach out to any of our speakers. So if you don't reach them through the Hop-In platform, if you go back through Claire and the CRNI team, I'm sure that any one of our speakers will be more than happy to answer questions and take emails and everything else, particularly if it's to give them more money or to offer them supports. They won't say no. So if anybody as well, but please do use the chat and keep informed. I'm delighted to pivot from Martina and Paul's and Phyllis's stories, textiles and bikes, talking to one of the more successful organizations working not as directly with materials as our first two speakers are, but in educating people, particularly that marriage of social, community and business and industry, and has been doing it so well over the past number of years with a range of different skill sets that have happened. It is my pleasure and privilege to welcome back somebody that I know well, although it has been a number of years, Peter, since we were knocking around Detroit and Boston.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's a pleasure to welcome the CEO of Fast Track to IT, Fit.ie, Mr. Peter Davitt. Peter, you have the floor.
Thanks, Chris. Listen, a great seminar this afternoon. Really enjoying it, getting some good insights and learning. So I was invited along to talk today about a field service technician training program that we've developed in collaboration with White Goods Association on We Ireland. So that's where I'll probably focus most of my attention. So as I say, it's an initiative of the White Goods Association in We Ireland, and it's funded under the Circular Air Innovation Fund, and the Secretariat is the Irish Manufacturing Institute, and it's funded by the Department of Environment, Climate and Communications, the Environment Protection Agency, and EIT Climate. And really, the origins of this, and I have to be very honest, I didn't come from this project from a circular economy focus. I have to be honest, I came to this project from a jobs opportunity, that I saw real jobs opportunity, people getting good quality employment, well-paid employment in a new arena of skills. And that's what gets me up in the morning. I get up in the morning to get people into quality employment. That's my day. So as I say, the White Goods Association, We Ireland, they were spurred on really by the European eco-design requirements regulations. And in response to that and the need for longevity in products and product development, the White Goods Association, We Ireland, undertook research into Ireland's capacity to support the maintenance, repair and recycling of white goods, to find that the average age of service technicians, they're older than me. The average age was 59 years. With no clear route or incentive for new entrants. So here's a very, very specialized area of skill sets. And by the way, a body of people, I've met a number of field service technicians in a variety of guises over the last few months. The passion that they have for their job, they love their job and going into people's houses and fixing and repairing their amenities, putting a smile on their face. They are so passionate about it, it's unbelievable. But the very interesting thing is, because it's an aging population, there's no obvious career path. How do I get involved in white goods? No, where do I start? I'm good with my hands. I've got a commitment to recycling. I'm concerned about the environment. How do I get into this? So there was no a very obvious clear path in terms of the white goods recycling, repair, and maintenance. And what happened was, we Ireland and white goods approached FIT, because we're involved in the whole area of training, development training programs, particularly technical training programs. And we're also, by the way, the national coordinating provider for tech apprenticeships at level 6 in Ireland. You might have heard that all the jobs in IT are all degrees and masters. That's not the case. There are plenty of jobs. There's more jobs for people with a high, well-developed level 6 award than there is for degree holders and higher. So we were actually invited to come involved in the project, and to do what we do quite well is, what we do is, in our conversation with employers, more building programs and courses, we do what we call in-depth skill needs analysis. So we were asked to look at the skill needs of the arena, help devise a curriculum, and possibly pilot a white goods field service technician program. So early on, there was a steering committee established and a technical committee established. And in addition to the people I outlined earlier, some of the leading manufacturers got involved and passionately got involved. I mean, on top, we had Beco, BSH, Whirlpool, Mheitheal, Belling, Grundig, Indesit, Fisher and Paykel, Electrolux, Neef, Siemens, etc. All wanted to get involved in this because they see the legislation there, but they also have a passion in terms of giving service to their customers when they purchase goods. So with their advice, we devised a skills audit, and we went out then to the sector, and we talked to manufacturers, we talked to retailers, we talked to repair companies, and indeed technicians in the field. The guy and the girl knocking on your front door to get their insights as to what skill sets they saw. And through this, we got a detailed overview of the skill requirements, from which we were able to build out an NFQ level 6 award and we're calling it the White Goods Field Service Technician Program. To be honest, we were also, the program itself has 10 modules in it. So it covers electrical skills and all the rest of the health and safety management, but it also does business startup and a whole module on the circular economy incorporated in that. By journeying through the project, we got so confident about the needs of employment opportunities. There are volumes of employment opportunities in this arena that we actually, with the support of Longford or Loudmead Education Training Board, we've now set up a training facility in Dunshaughlin, and we're going to commence our first training course in early July. And just to say, when fitting out that facility, the lead manufacturers there, all donations equipment into the facility. It's a state-of-the-art facility in terms of training. We've got wet areas and dry areas for fixing cookers, fridges, freezers, dryers, wash machines, etc. As I say, we hope to start the first course in early July, and our ambition is that after this pilot phase, we'll evolve this into an apprenticeship program. So it will become a career path, a professional career path for young and not so young people who have a passion in that arena. And interesting is we only started advertising this year for this week for our first course, and we've already got 12 applicants. And I suppose, but one thing that we're really keen to make sure is that this project stimulates diversity and inclusion as it goes forward.
It's just an extraordinary development and huge, and all the team. That is just a brilliant thing. Peter, very quick, and I ask our as well, just for people wanting for next steps or that they can go and do. Is there anywhere that we might? So I presume the website.
In terms of FIT supports an array of programs in IT, advanced manufacturing, supply chain logistics, and now the white goods arena. So there's information on all the FIT courses on the FIT website, www.fit.ie. And for a lot of our programs, Chris, as well, we have taster programs and feeder programs as well. So you might feel, well, I'm not ready for IT. I couldn't do an apprenticeship. Well, then there's a tech taster course you can do first of all, and then there's a pre-tech apprenticeship. Oh, I like this. oh God, I'm actually quite good at this. And you can do the pre-tech taster. And then, oh, gee, I know a little more than I thought I knew. You can go on and do the apprenticeship. So we have developed that type of content. And for me, all roads lead to Rome. Anybody shows an interest in the area of technology or skills, I'm confident that we can get them to a stage where they can get a professional career and good employment.
Anybody that doesn't know what you guys do, Peter, I'm going to ask you now and maybe put the website into the chat box so people can find it out.
Yeah,
Paul, you've already done that. For anybody who wants more information, and the website. But is there any things that just, you've got a captive audience here, just things to of now, things that are coming up that you want to get across? Paul?
Yeah, I guess, the circular economy and like the transition to a circular economy is a huge opportunity for society to kind of redress kind of some of the negative impacts of how our economy is organized. And it's a really big opportunity for organizations that are not-for-profit, social enterprises, sustainable enterprises, cooperatives, all of these types of organizations. If these organizations are really prioritized and supported, the social, environmental and cultural benefits that come through that will happen in tangent with all of the economic production that happens as well. So I think, yeah, now is the time for social enterprise and sustainable enterprise. And it's tying together social and sustainable enterprise and community development with the transition to a circular economy. Tying those two things together can really deliver a lot more benefits for wider society.
Absolutely. It's a huge difference if we are able to get across the point of those current things that constantly now at the moment. There is a role for people in getting involved. And Martina, I know you've put some things into out there. Next, things people you want to leave them with, just that you think might be useful for.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing we found with, I suppose, COVID has forced us into a situation where we have all had to become a little bit more digital literate. And we've had our group who, I'd say, it'd be fair to say, Phyllis, we wouldn't be hugely digitally literate.
Definitely not. No.
And because they wanted to take on the QQI course, what we've been able to do is facilitate that online through COVID. And we had great support, from Roscommon Women's Network, who were able to facilitate, access to laptops, and we were able to support them as well as employees through, I guess, you just get just the skills of just being able to reach out and just show people how to use Zoom and things like that. And they're quite important for us to be able to move on and to keep up with things and be able to move the training online for us. As I said, there was a little bit of a reluctance, but we got over that. And they're new skills that all the group now have. So that for us was a big thing. But we are really looking forward to getting back into a room again, with sewing machines and people all working together. And there's a lot of synergy there, and a lot of, I suppose, the girls would bounce ideas off each other and come up with solutions to, we'll say, textile waste. We've got this piece of material, what are we going to do with it? And together they will come up with solutions. So please God, this September we'll be back in a room together, maybe in smaller numbers, working and finding solutions to more issues with the textile waste.
So I'm going to ask you, getting back into normal now with vaccines and making sure that people are all, coming back into the room together. I presume you spoke a little bit about it, but what in the coming year?
Well, we really look forward to get back with the sewing machines. It would be wonderful.
I mean, I know you guys are going to be extraordinary at it. I know there's going to be an awful lot of good crack being brought back into a community again. So I sincerely hope that you all get to enjoy that. I think it'll be absolutely fantastic. So Phyllis, hats off to you. I think it's fantastic. Brilliant. Really appreciate you talking about your experience here today. That's really excellent. Is there anything you want to leave us with, Phyllis?
Well, we've learned a lot through doing this course through Zoom. We learned all the share PowerPoint and share slides and chat rooms, and what we had never done before. It was wonderful. You know, learning, as well as learning our sewing, we've also learned technology, which is great. Thanks to Martina and Nora for letting us do this. It was wonderful.
Isn't that funny? You might not ever have had look at all of that if it hadn't been for COVID.
No, never. All new experience, and really enjoyed it when we got into it. Very nervous at the beginning. And still nervous what was going on, but it was great to do it. Great achievement to do it.
That is excellent. Congratulations. I think it's fantastic, and I sincerely hope that you're enjoy getting back now and meeting everybody and working together as a team. That'll be really good. So Phyllis and everybody else, I really appreciate
Chris, can I just make...
thank you so much. Yeah, Chris, Peter. Yeah,
I just like to make one point, and it goes back to some of the earlier conversations, speakers. I think what we need to really do in terms of the circular economy is to clearly articulate and demonstrate the capacity for significant job creation through their circular economy. I don't think there's sufficient promotion and communication of the career paths and opportunities that are emerging, and that there's new employment opportunities. And I'm thinking, for example, of people who've lost their jobs during COVID, the people in hospitality and catering and elsewhere who don't know about the future or are concerned to go back into minimum wage scenarios. There is jobs here that are evolving, that are coming on stream quite fast. I mean, I'm also involved in wind turbine maintenance as well. It's another arena, but the job opportunities are coming fast and furious, and we need to get prepared and organised in our education and training systems to ensure that our young and not so young people can exploit these new and emerging opportunities.
Peter, that is, I often speak about how it is that you went from doing network administrators and all those types of courses into doing wind turbine maintenance, which just seems so alien, but is absolutely where the jobs are at. And it's your status quo. The reason why you get up in the morning is to be able to give people jobs. So we deeply appreciate that there's new opportunities and we need to explore them. Check out the website. Anybody that's logging in is open for regular courses and tasters as well. And give you the last word. People can get involved at any time. Just call down to the store, right? Is Paul frozen? No.
Yeah. Yeah, we're open on the Headford Road at the Galway Shopping Centre. So we've just got a shop open at the minute, and hopefully come September we'll be open for the DIY workshops again.
That is fantastic. Well, look, thank you so much to all of you, and we deeply appreciate you providing lightning talks and hopefully a little bit of extra time to point people in the right direction that are there.